Hello everybody, hope we're all doing well. Welcome back to a very important episode. The breakdown so far, further responses on the NiP case. I will link a great video by The Score down below for all of you guys. Today we talk about two sides of the story in detail. That going to be Fifflaren calling out Heaton. If you guys do know, a former NiP player, a former CSGO player himself, has also been tied to NiP for quite some time until recently. Along with that, an Esports Hall of Famer being called out by Fifflaren. Now, on top of that, we have the former NiP CEO, that being Niklas, his response. With that, The Score video will be linked down below once again for all of you. We're going to break down both these accusations for you guys, as this story has now taken a crazy turn. So first off, Fifflaren starts out on Twitter, guys, with a string of tweets, and again, a lot of accusations here. These have to be allegations as of right now until further is actually confirmed. He calls him a liar, a crook, a cheat, also accused him of lying in court about having access to the bank account where the funds disappeared from. If you guys are new to this story or do not remember, there apparently was a bank fund where they kept all of the former NiP players, their prize pools, and their earnings from the old NiP, and those funds randomly disappeared at one point in time. So according to Fifflaren here, he called out Heaton for lying about it in court, that he had access to that bank account. And it also, keep in mind, we're gonna have Niklas' response here in a couple of minutes for all of you guys. It was Heaton and upper management as well at the time, apparently accusing Niklas, the former CEO, of taking those funds and fleeing to Thailand. Although we have Fifflaren here saying instead it was actually Heaton and maybe some others involved as well who actually made those funds disappear on their own. He then accuses Heaton of using NiP prize money to pay for his own lawyer, also paying his own girlfriend at the time. Apparently they now are exes, but apparently it was actually Heaton paying his girlfriend more than the players were making. Now, I'm not really sure if his tweet meant they were paying his girlfriend $20K a month. That seems a bit extreme, or $20K after taxes for the year. Either way, apparently she was making more than the players themselves. He also mentions that Mike Lilly, he was making 10.5K after taxes. The other players around 15K. Peter was pulling in 7K, and Heaton's girlfriend at the time, according to Fifflaren's allegations, was making more than any of the players, which, if true, seems a bit scummy, right? And lastly, he accused Heaton of moving all the old NiP money to the new NiP and convincing the players to sign again with the new organization. And then very lastly, another email, thanks to Frederick on Twitter for translation, guys, an email that directly does show Emil talking to Fifflaren through this email about the taxes situation, which we all know about. On top of that, though, withholding the prize pool earnings for the moment from those players, and they would revise that in the new deal as well. So Emil definitely had some sort of role in this old NiP and the new NiP, which does kind of go against what he had said a bit in the past. Now, I do need to state, though, that Heaton has now taken to Twitter as well, or taken to Twitter, I should say, and he'll have his response sometime soon. He does say his court documents will hold up his end of things, but this does not look good, especially when we add in the second part of the story, guys. Those allegations for Fifflaren, so far, a lot of them have reigned true in the past. Now, these new allegations against Heaton, an Esports Hall of Famer himself, they seem a bit strenuous, especially when you throw in the former NiP CEO, Niklas, as he has now responded about this, and it gets all the crazier. So the initial part of the story that's actually revealed in The Score's latest episode, we already knew this kind of stuff, but they reveal so much more when it comes to Niklas' side of things and how he sees things going out, and it's, again, becoming a he said, she said case. So I must say, these are accusations, they're allegations. We're going to see if this does go to court, who actually wins and comes out, telling the truth. But with that being said, Fifflaren does reveal yet again Emil or Heaton. He came to the players at some point in time and had actually said that Niklas, the former NiP CEO, had fled to Thailand and taken all of their prize pool earnings, all of their prize money. Although he then comes back to the players and says, do not worry, we have a new deal in order, guys, for the new NiP. We're going to bring in a guy known as Robert Himmler. Robert Himmler was eventually the guy who had the NiP chocolates ideas to try and make up for that missing prize money, right? That prize pool earnings that had just gone and disappeared, and they had accused the former NiP CEO, that being Niklas, of taking that money and fleeing to Thailand. While meanwhile, Heaton, alongside Robert Himmler, eventually brings in Hashim Shaheen. They all come back to the players and say, hey, new NiP is here. We have some new deals we're going to work out for all of you guys. Do not worry, it'll make up for it. And that's how they convince the guys to sign with the new NiP, whilst thinking all of their money is gone with Niklas, but there might be another side to the story. So Niklas and Emil, that being Heaton, had actually started with Heat Gaming. So, Heaton, Heat Gaming was their initial project. Eventually, they actually started NiP together as well, kind of resurrected them from nothing On top of that, eventually came to Niklas, though, throughout this interview, did admit, this needs to be clarified as well, because we kind of painted him in a semi-poor light. We really weren't sure about the full details behind this guy. He fully admits throughout this process, guys, he was pretty much on his own when working with the players, all of the contract, all of the legal stuff, and it became very overwhelming very fast with the amount of sponsors, the amount of success, the team winnings, all the stuff coming in for the team. He does admit when it came time for taxes and actually filing the actual paperwork, he was a bit overwhelmed and should have asked for more help, and that's why the players did run into the issues that they did. So I really did appreciate that. Niklas came forward and said, hey, it was way over my head, and the amount of stress he did go through, it was very, very apparent at that time. And I thought a very well-mentioned point as well by Niklas, guys, is the fact that these guys were not making near as much money as we thought. Now, besides the prize pools and the prize money these players should have been paid, according to Niklas, guys, they were not making much at all from sponsors. From the very few sponsors they could pull in, they were making about $2,000 per month in total per sponsor. Alongside that, they were not paid a single dime for their TV series or their Mick NiP burger. Now, thanks to Twitter, if you guys do follow me on Twitter, I love the responses. I'm going to take one with a grain of salt, but it could very well be true. According to my Twitter responses, guys, on that Mick NiP burger, it was actually not even it wasn't even a promotion. It was not a partnership with McDonald's. It was actually kind of a voted in kind of thing. So you could apply to have your own style of burger, and it was actually fan voted or community voted, and the community did vote for the Mick NiP, although they weren't going to be paid for it. It was just kind of a cross promotion, not really paid for. And the TV series on top of that, apparently not paying a single dollar, meant these guys, including Niklas, the NiP CEO, were not making much money at all. Niklas does cite as well, at the very point he was actually withdrawing money, he was making about $14,000 per year. And here's where the accusations, they get very, very strange, and I hope to God this is not true, because Niklas goes on to state, at the point in time with the old NiP, they had contract clauses, which Fifflaren has confirmed, guys. These players were given contract clauses which stated if they played for NiP for 2 years, they were given 10% in the parent company of NiP, aka 10% ownership in the company itself. Now, the other 50%, because 5 players times 10%, they had half the company. The other half was owned by Niklas. Accordingly, though, it was, Niklas did say, ever since he met Robert Himmler, he wanted in on NiP from the very start. Robert Himmler was, of course, kind of connected to Heaton alongside Hashim Shaheen, and according to Niklas, the next statement he does make, it's pretty bold, and again, an accusation here. He does actually state when it came time for the old NiP to become the new NiP, well, why that actually happened is because, according to him, it was Heaton and his partners which drove the old NiP into bankruptcy, so those contracts, those ownership of the old NiP would not be valid. That was according to Niklas. It was Heaton alongside Hashim Shaheen and Robert Himmler. They didn't think that the players deserved 10% of the company, or they didn't want Niklas to have majority ownership at all, so they drove old NiP into bankruptcy. They failed to actually pay the accountants while transferring all the old NiP money to the new NiP accounts. They failed to pay for those licensing fees, those actual annual report fees, which is eventually what turned old NiP into new NiP, and all of that stuff, I do believe, according to Niklas's words, went invalid because of that. If that's true, this is going to become one of the biggest esports scandals of all time. I want to tread very carefully when I do say these things, but that's what it made it seem out to be. It seems that old NiP had been bankrupted on purpose to invalidate all of the former owners, and that way we had a few other partners take heavier stakes or higher stakes inside the company, higher portions of ownership inside NiP. That being, well, the alleged names we have already stated, guys. If this is true, it is absolutely insane, and this will go down as one of the biggest esports scandals, at least that I've covered here on this channel, guys. I will have more updates for you guys as they do come out. Fifflaren has now called out Heaton for several accusations, being a cheat, a liar, a crook, stealing from the players, paying his own girlfriend more than the players were even making, countless things he has been accused of, but he does say he can back it up in court, and I sure hope he can, because these accusations, well, they aren't far and few between. They are quite a few of them. As always, guys, I hope you all enjoy. My name is Jake, breaking down esports and gaming news here all day long. Until next time, take care of yourselves. I'll see you soon.